Good morning, it's Shana Ackles with Growth Word, and I am here today with a little bit of a cold with Sherry and Clint Wulf, a client of ours in Boise, Idaho, who's been in the business. This is your third full year in the business, correct, Clint?
Correct.
Right, and you have a big goal to double your business this year. As Sherry says, double and roundup, which I love. And I'm going to stop talking for a minute. We just had a conversation about how you originally got into the business, and I want to stop talking and let you kind of repeat that story of what brought you into real estate.
Okay. I spent 20 years in the hospitality industry, front of house management and overriding programs and implementing them for the staff. Because hospitality for me is a very big thing, being genuine. And I'll go someplace with mediocre food and great hospitality and pay money for that. But if the food's great and their hospitality is horrible, I won't ever go there again. So people earn a lot of money. They work hard for their money. And the fact that they're coming into our establishment and spending that hard-earned money, we need to be very, grateful and appreciative that they're coming in. And so I've always been in the restaurant industry, and so is most of my family. And so it was my dream to open up a restaurant. And so I had written out a business plan, had financial investors involved. I was just looking for a location. And then a few of my friends who are in real estate, they have a great quality of life. And, before I was going to make that transition to owning my own restaurant, I reached out to my realtors and I was like, you guys are always working around my restaurant schedule. It's not very flexible for people in the restaurant to have weekends off. And yeah, I got 2 weeks paid time off, but no insurance benefits or anything. So I'm like, you guys, it's not really about the money, but I'm like, you guys are, you have a really good quality of life. You're always going on vacations. You have weekends off, weeknights off. And I shouldn't say weekends off. I should say weekend nights off most of the time. Right. We do work weekends as well. So I just asked the tough questions. I met with my friends and I said, do you think that I would be a good realtor? And if I went into real estate, what would be my pros for myself? What would I be good at and what would I not be good at? And so we had the tough conversation and talked to my husband. And I said, I think I want to try doing real estate. I'm already going to, kind of go a different path, whether that, owning my own business. So I'm like, I'm going to try real estate first. He was like, okay. So started real estate in October 2019, put all of my financial, business plan for the restaurant industry on the back burner. Thank goodness I did, because that's when COVID hit, because we were supposed to open up April 2020, and that would have financially ruined me. That would have financially ruined our family. Yeah. So it was a blessing, God sent, that happened, that I chose a different path. And I've stayed on that path and still consider, a real estate helping me to fund a restaurant still. So I still have that on the back burner, but maybe, work behind the scenes as a financial backer, as well as write out the hospitality program and do like hospitality consulting for the restaurant.
Right. And so that's when you met Sherry, not long after, probably 2020, right?
Well, I met Sherry beforehand. She's a good, close personal friend of mine, who's also in real estate, Derek Sell. He's a friend that lives here in Boise. So I met Sherry. We went out boating together on one of those random days that I, had off of, the restaurant industry. So I got to meet Sherry. And so I've known her before. Gosh, it was probably 2018, 2016.
About 5 years. 4 or 5
Yeah.
years.
And so her being up in Alaska at the time and running her own real estate business, I went through actually a few coaches, some free at Keller Williams Realty, and then started looking into hiring a coach. And then that's when I knew that we actually went on a whitewater raft trip 7 days down the main salmon in Idaho and Sherry was there. And so her and my husband started talking about real estate coaching. He's like, Clint needs a real estate coach. And I didn't know Sherry was in coaching. And the biggest thing for me with coaching is being able to connect spiritually, I guess, with feeling comfortable, because you talk about some very personal things in coaching. It's not
100%.
well for me. for us, it's not just about numbers in real estate. It's about what's going on in personal life too. So, and how that affects business.
Yeah. Sherry, talk to us a little bit about the journey.
So when I met Clint, number one, I would like to add that the fact that he has been in the hospitality industry and for 20 years is what makes him such a great realtor, right? Like his ability to be in front of people, his charismatic personality, his charm, his style, his friendliness is genuine. I mean, I think we can all hear how genuine he is and what connections mean. And so translating that into the real estate world it's just a perfect fit, right? Because the reality of it is this is a people business. It's not, necessarily a house business, right? We have to dig deep and figure out what the people want and need. And Clint is really, really good at that. And so he's just a really amazing human being, and also just a phenomenal realtor. Anyone who gets the opportunity to work with him is going to be very blessed and very happy if they chose him, for sure. But I'd like to know, since you've gotten into real estate, you've talked about, the challenges you might have faced in, the hospitality industry and with, restaurants and such. What are the challenges that you faced when you came into real estate? What were some of the things that you maybe didn't expect that prompted you to look into coaching and things like that? What were some of the hurdles that you had?
Yeah, the first one is roadblocks to looking into like roadblocks of what do I do in this situation? There's so many programs, and I think companies feed on realtors because we have that entrepreneur mindset where this is a great idea. And then like 3 weeks later, you see something on Instagram or you get an email from somebody and we're like, oh, this looks great. So we move over there. And so it's with coaching, it's a lot of like expanding, first it was roadblocks and how do I expand my business and what other routes can I go to put my face out there and let people know that I'm in real estate. But that was the biggest thing that I was looking for coaching, as well as, expanding my mindset on how to generate leads and put myself out there. But it's been definitely more than that with having a coach.
Yeah. Well, I've always had I shouldn't say I've always had a coach, but when I did hire a coach probably 7 years ago, it's definitely a game changer for me as well. And I continue to be coached as I coach. So what are some of the things that you feel like you've overcome since you started coaching? What are some of the things, I mean, we haven't been doing it very long, but what are some of the things that you feel like have been a benefit to you from coaching, things you've overcome?
There's a lot of things. And I have 3 things written down here. One, the roadblocks, expanding my mindset and how I think about operating my business and growing my business. Another one is rigidity of schedule. I always thought that I had to be at the computer. I had to get up at 6 o'clock, go work out, be in front of my computer at 8:30 in the morning, and then follow this pre-made schedule that I have on the computer, which some days that does help, because if I'm losing focus, then I know I can just look at my schedule and be like, I just need to go back into lead generating. I'm doing that until noon. But also being flexible with that, because I suffer, I have a little bit of seasonal affective disorder. So right now it's winter. So I rolled out of bed at 9 o'clock this morning. And I'm probably going to go work out. I have the rest of the day to continue my work, because right now I don't have, anything that's, other than this meeting that we're having, I don't have anything that's super rigid today. So I can not be so rigid on my schedule and not be so rigid on myself, because mental health is a huge thing for me. And if I have positive mental health, that's just transitions into my business and it's going to help it grow.
100%.
So yeah, roadblocks, rigidity of schedule, being loose on that, and then not being so hard on myself if I'm not in front of the computer at 8:30 in the morning.
Right. And one of the things that we've really worked with Clint on is that because of his charismatic personality, and he does have some issues being in front of the computer all day, and that doesn't work well for him health-wise all the time. How can we get him out in front of people? What can we do to build his database, to get him in front of people, to obtain clients and be the face of real estate without just sitting at the computer all day? And so it's been really fun and coming up with, he's got some phenomenal ideas and we've got to work together on some great things, you know, lovers bingo night for Valentine's Day and just all these great ways.
I think that's the coolest thing about real estate. Everybody thinks I just have to be on the phone, and you do.
Right.
That's a big part of it. But the other part is written in the book, there's probably 28 sources of lead generation. And we could probably grow that by another 5 or 10. And I loved hearing that you guys are finding where Clint fits in that world, right?
Well, everyone's individuals, right? We have to look at what their struggles are and how do we overcome them, right? For each individual person, there's no one cookie cutter way of coaching or doing business or being a real estate agent, right? We all have different reasons why we come into the business and we all have different goals and dreams that come from the end of that. And it's really, really important that we find what works for our clients in coaching to move them forward to the next level. So tell me, what are you most looking forward to this year in coaching, this year in real estate? What are you excited about?
Meeting more people. And I know that generates to fulfilling leads or fulfilling my units sold, 24. And then hopefully more than that, but just meeting more people because I am not a computer person. I can probably sit in front of the computer for like 3 hours a day max. And so being in coaching, Sherry's like, well, what about this bingo? So we talked about lovers bingo and then, signing up for events where I'm having a booth there, especially door knocking in my neighborhood because I'm invested in my neighborhood. And just thinking outside the box of how to get me outside and in front of people, because after spending 20 years in the hospitality industry, I'm, working 15 hours running the floor, just talking to tables, serving food, taking care of guests. And then it's like, I thought with real estate, you just sat in front of your computer and made phone calls, right? Which I was like, ugh, I don't know if I can do this. So getting a coach too, like I felt like a cattle dog in a cage.
And some people love that and thrive on it. They just like it's their jam. It's their jam, and some just don't, and that's okay.
And that's our job, right? As coaches to figure out what works for each individual person and then help them completely grow from that. It's huge. It's fun. So what else? So what's on the horizon? Tell me your calendar. Have you got your vacations put in your calendar?
Yep, we worked on that. So we have 4 major vacations planned. And by 4 major vacation plans, that is where I am forwarding my phone or leaving a voicemail and hiring somebody to cover my business while I'm away. So I can actually be on vacation because 2 of those is going to be out of cell phone service. So, and then just having flex vacations. It's kind of the wing, flying by I can't think of the phrase, but if it comes up like that, I can go with my husband to Austin, Texas and Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm going to go down there with him for his medical conferences. And that's kind of like a little vacation for us, but also I'll still be working and I'm going to, and this is, something that Sherry helped me with. She's like, go with Casey to his medical conferences. There's Keller Williams agents down there. Go and meet with the top 3, go and take them out to lunch, network with them. And she's like, also invite them into your agent mastermind that we started when I met people at mega camp. So, we have 6 agents that I met and we just do an agent mastermind moved it to every 2 or every quarter. So it's fun and exciting. We can talk about new things. And so finding new candidates to bring into the agent mastermind and the thing with that, with Texas and Arizona, we're going to be going to Texas as well. A lot of people from California are moving to Texas and it's 100%. A lot. So getting to know those people, and even if I'm not making money off of it, I'm still getting to meet people and help people and improve their life, which for me, that's what it's all about. And Sherry's helped me realize that.
That's fantastic.
A good run so far.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I want to thank you for kind of sharing your story. I think more people understanding the path to coaching and what it truly brings you is our goal in these recordings. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And we're going to check back in on that. You guys said double my business and round up a little bit. So we'll check back in on that in the fourth quarter.
Door knocking.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And if you're in Idaho, come to Lovers Bingo.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys, have a super day.